Well, this will be some donations for St. John the Baptist for this morning. This is January 24th. We have Silurian limestone. It could be Devonian too, but it's a definite limestone. Silurian or Devonian. It's about 300 and some million years old. If it is Silurian, it's a lot older. It could be in the billion-year range. We have tabular coral. It's being beat up on the beach quite a bit, but there's enough details of the tabular coral that one can identify it easily enough. And we have one fossil Pleistocene clam. That was a nice find. Ooh, we have a Pleistocene fan coral. The kids will like that. It has, because of its color and texture. And here we have more tabular coral. Devonian tabular coral. You can definitely tell this one is older. This one here is older than this one, but they're both Devonian. And we have some fossil algae. Now, this is an important kind of fossil because it dictates how deep the ocean waters were, where this algae, when it was alive, where it dictates how shallow the ocean was, because algae depends a lot on sunlight. So these are important kinds of fossils. And we have a glass bottle stopper somewhere in the late 18th century. It was used for a brandy or cognac decanter. And the nice thing about this one, it is gorgeous. It's not broken up. There's no big nicks. It's as fresh and usable as the day it was made. This could have been made during the Napoleonic Wars. It could have been could have been made any time in the 18th century. Now we have some Devonian corals, horn corals. There's a lot of Devonian corals on Tin Can Beach. Now here we have an example of a Neolithic snare set. The snare is on this end, and the line goes out through this bird bone tube. So when the animal is caught in the snare, when the animal is caught in the snare, it can't turn around and bite the cord. The bone tube prevents the animal from biting the cord to free itself. These bone snare sets were usually used in spring pole type snares. And this is modern cordage, a nylon type cordage you would call it, but the indigenous people, they only had either the woven inner barks of trees or hide or sinew. But you have to remember that sinew in itself must be kept in a bag of damp moss to keep it moist so it keeps its strength. If sinew dries out, it gets brittle. And if it gets too wet, it also gets weaker. So sinew had to be waterproofed before it was ever used in a snare set. Yeah, the kids should find that interesting, I think. Oh, wait. Now here is another example of a fossil algae. This has been tumbled on the beach for a very long time, so it's a little tiny bit shiny. Now this here is either a fossil sponge or a fossil algae, but either way, it's still an important fossil because that tells how far below the surface of the ocean it was. And the most important find of the week would be a Pleistocene lion tooth I found yesterday, just before dusk. These are they go down inside the jaw. You can, I'll see if I can. There's, okay, come on. There's grooves, nerve center grooves down on the inside of those prongs. If I can get this to cooperate. There. That's the nerve. That's where all the nerves of the tooth are packed in these grooves. This is a middle molar of an American Pleistocene lion. It's a middle molar. This is the most spectacular mammal fossil that I have found yet, because it's the easiest to, and it is the easiest to identify. It's a miracle I found that. All the mud was washed off the beach, and this was one of the treasures left behind. I have to say thank you to the dredger for his operational activity. Otherwise, I would never have found this. Alright, well that's it for donations for St. John the Baptist School for January 24th. I have to get back down to the beach again and start searching again, and over the week I'll get another collection of stuff. But that is a very important find. A zoologist would be highly interested in that, because the health of the tooth and the size and shape. Oh, look at him. Speaking of size, three-quarter of an inch across. The crown, I should say the crown is three-quarters of an inch across. The root, half-inch deep. almost a ½ inch. Yep, the roots are a ½ inch deep. You gotta love your Swiss champ knife. You get a lot of uses out of that. That's from fire lighting to button making, tobacco pipe making, whistle making, and measuring fossils. Alright, well that's enough of that. I'm going to get these treasures to St. John the Baptist School this morning, and I will see you online.